Hello, 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 everyone. This is Butterfly Milkshakes, and it's been a while since I've really talked on my channel. The first video that I made was definitely where I shared my face and my voice. This time you'll be only hearing my voice. So, as you see, I've been posting speed paints every Saturday for like 2 weeks now. Yeah, 2 weeks. But, of course, I've also promised to do how-to videos. Therefore, I'm going to start a new segment called How to Art the Right Way. Of course, it'll be, it's not technically the right way. I think everybody can find anything that works for them, different techniques and whatnot. So instead of like the right way technically, this will be based off of my personal experience, and hopefully you'll be able to take anything that's helpful for you and use it yourself, and maybe even, who knows, in the comments, share a bit of your techniques as well. I can always learn more. And I've gotten a few questions. I've asked my family these questions to help me start because I'm like, I can literally start anywhere. It's so overwhelming. There's like how to draw a face, how to draw a nose, and so on and so forth. And it all kind of seemed overwhelming, which is why I got some outside support. So a few things I'll be covering are, how to draw hands, eyes, noses, wings, eyelashes, etc., any other body part or even figures like that. But I also wanted to touch on how to draw digitally, how to sketch on paper. I know you see me draw digitally a lot, and it's something that I do primarily, but I'm actually proficient in both paper and digital art, so I don't want to leave my traditional artist hanging. And so I'll be covering that, as well as what type of paints or brushes you can use, how to draw whatever in 5 steps, which I think will be a challenge because I kid you not, it literally can take me about an hour or 2 to draw something well. Sometimes it even takes me a couple days, which I think is very reasonable considering how detailed I can go. And so I'll be covering that, maybe some art DIY, but the ultimate goal is to give people advice on how they can draw well if they don't think they can draw well. I've seen people say, oh, I can't draw, or I don't have enough practice, or I need to practice. But in reality, people can definitely draw. Like, I've seen people draw stick figures and blow up on Instagram. So if you can draw stick figures that people like, then I'm pretty sure that is considered drawing. And that's something I have to remind myself constantly, is that having a pen and pencil in hand does not always equate to art. There's sculpting, there's journal making, there's collages. And if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see that I'm doing this 30-day art challenge, where at some point in time I do express that I definitely need to change my art style for this, because it literally takes me about an hour or 2 to draw something really well that or at least I want to draw well and detailed, even though it'll take up most of my day. And I realize I don't want this to take up most of my day. And so I've actually kind of quote unquote simplified everything to the point where it looks like doodles, but I still have a lot of fun. And if you see here, this drawing that I'm actually doing now would not be considered a normal style for me. In fact, I had to go out of my comfort zone to draw myself like this. I am a super perfectionist, which is why I love the details as much as I do, but I have to remind myself constantly that perfection is not the goal of art. Instead, it is to convey feelings, to convey your mindset. It's supposed to be freeing, not confining. And so that's what I've been doing here and there. But back to the topic of my how-to art videos. We'll be covering basics such as tools, art supplies. Basically, that's where I want to start because I think any good starting place would be getting the tools that you need to complete something. Like, if you're going to write a paper, you need a computer. If you want to paint your walls, for instance, you need to prep the walls. You know, starting from square one. And I think I might have to do an inspirational video as well. Like, why are you an artist? Something like that. Because I think that can also qualify as a tool. And so, I keep saying and so. I have an outline right here, so I'm trying to follow it really well. Wow, that's basically it. Alright, so tools, techniques, how-to videos, paper versus digital art. This is pretty much it, actually. And of course, if you guys have any suggestions, let me know, because I really do want to contribute to your growth when it comes to art. Not make it complicated, just kind of, you know, making it fun. And I've kind of done this in the past before. I've helped kids draw a certain way. I've shown them how I draw. I've actually drawn a couple of things for people in my high school, and they basically loved it. This is why I kind of wanted to become an artist professionally, you know, by myself, because art has been really a part of me since I have been young. Like, I can remember one of the earliest drawings I did. It was of me and my teacher, and it was a stick figure drawing. But over the course of time, as I got older, I just kept drawing. In church, I would draw, which was great because when you're young, I was like 5 or 6. Church is kind of boring, and I think my parents gave us a pass when it came to the message. It's like, oh, we understand you don't know this stuff yet. And especially if it wasn't Wednesday night Bible study for children yet, or maybe they didn't incorporate it at some point in time. At some point in time, it seemed like we sat in a lot of messages instead of going to children's Bible study, which I don't know why. But anyway, my mom would hand us pieces of paper where we could draw, and I'm really thankful for that because children really do need different types of stimulation. And one of the things that I learned to do over the years was to, you know, eventually have my attention drawn to the message itself. But I gotta tell you, I think art really did provide that different focus that I had. And to be honest, I remember I watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles a lot when I was younger, the 2003 version, and I just loved that show so much. It was the best ever. So what I did was I drew a scene when, you know, the turtles were babies, and the boy that bought them from the pet store, he was like holding them in this little tank before he got knocked into by this one guy, and he, you know, dropped them and they fell into the sewer. And so I drew a scene. I forgot if it was after he dropped them. I think it was before he dropped them, because I do remember coloring the turtles together. But when I looked over it, I was like, I really like what I did. And I think in my mind, I thought of it as the most realistic drawing I had ever done or ever recognized. And even my siblings, we all draw. My dad kind of draws. My mom, she draws. I'm encouraging her to draw because I don't think she's really someone who draws. My dad's not really someone who draws either. He did it a lot when he was younger, but every now and then, like maybe a few years ago, he did kind of break out his pen. He's made drawings out of words, so that was very interesting. So yeah, drawing has literally been with me for a good portion of my life. And people have always kind of looked over it and was like, wow, you drew that? And it's like, yeah. And so I think I really got a rush out of making people feel great. Not like being prideful, where it's like, ah, look at me. I can draw super, super well. In fact, I think more times than not, I've doubted my abilities. Especially when I grew older. I think maybe it's because I was introduced to social media. Like, I didn't get a phone until I was like 14 or 15 years old. And it never really dawned on me, you know, how much of a competition it seemed like people had on social media. Like, today I feel like it's worse than it used to be, but I've definitely compared myself a lot after I joined Instagram, and I've had to continuously remind myself that I have to enjoy art for myself. Like, everyone else, probably they doubt their abilities as well, but I can't compare myself to them, because not only would that be copying, but I would also feel discontent. And I have felt discontent. It's not a good feeling, and I've had to like scoop myself out of that rut. It's not a good feeling at all. And I still have to remind myself to this day, like whenever I see realistic drawings or paintings, I'm like, man, I wish I could do that. And I actually tried recently. I tell you what, it was so frustrating. Like, I couldn't think. I was thinking too hard, and I'm like, I'm trying to make these textures come together. That's the, if anyone wants to know, that's kind of the secret behind why realistic paintings look so realistic. You have to find the texture. Like, your skin has texture, everything has texture, walls have texture. You know those little bumps? You have to find a way how to draw that to make it look realistic. I have still yet to find how to do that. Maybe if I dove a little bit in there, then I could find ways to cut my time in half. Because that thing that I drew, I think it took me a week before I was like, forget it. And then I just started going ham. I was so done with it. But in the end, I still made myself proud, because at some point in time I was like, I just want this to have an atmosphere to it. I don't want it to look like a person right now. I just wanted to convey this atmosphere. I wanted to convey a feeling. And I think that's what I focus on a lot with my drawings. I want to convey a feeling. If you look on some of my pictures on Instagram or Twitter or anything like that, I think you'll see some consistencies. And a lot of it is kind of like boys with short hair, kind of just staring with a frown. I want that to convey listlessness and maybe some sort of power to it as well. I just want people to feel what I'm feeling or have their own perception of it. That's why I draw. To give people that sense of feeling, that sense of wow again. And I've honestly wondered if that's a bad thing. If it consumes me, then I think it's a bad thing. Like, if I can't find the good in my drawing before I want somebody else to find it, I think that's bad. Because I can look back at all of my stuff and go like, wow, I remember drawing that. I love drawing that. But if I look back and I look at a drawing and I was like, what am I thinking? What did I do? I think that I made a step in the wrong direction. Well, that was a long conversation, and it went way beyond what I was trying to do, which was to just focus on how to art the right way. But I think I just needed to pour out my heart a little bit. I don't want people to feel disconnected from me. I know you've only seen my face once, and I know artists typically don't show their faces, but I want to be that one person who connects with you. Yes, I get nervous sometimes. Yes, it's a little nerve-wracking to be in front of a camera. Who doesn't get nerve-wracked in front of a camera? So I just wanted to say hello. Be prepared for how-to art. Get your pencils out, get your notebooks out, get ready to take some notes, because I'm here and I'm ready to give you the knowledge that I have.